Did the DOJ come to that conclusion?
No, wasn't the PD to file the charges?
So I can give you kind of the legal breakdown.
Yeah, if you could, because I don't understand it. Okay, because they're saying that he moved locations, but in my opinion, okay.
So what I'm going to describe is the argument, and the judge agreed, right? So, it comes down to this. So human trafficking is anytime you use violence in order to. Actually, let me pull up the definition.
Can you define violence? Does it have to be?
Give me a sec.
Actual violence or
it's the unlawful act of transporting individuals under the threat of deadly force with the intent to compel them to perform an act of manual labor or service for an extended period of time under duress.
Okay, I understand the half part of it.
So in this particular case, a member of the EMS was forced at gunpoint to go to the surgery room and in turn conduct a surgery over the course of an hour and a half.
I understand that completely, but how were they transported to a different location when it's the same location? It's like they went down the hall into a closed room. That's all it was, no?
No, because now this argument was made by Mr. Ferreira. However, the word actually the closing was pretty good. I hope right. So Mr. Ferreira pretty much with his client admitted to everything, and the main argument was the word transport. And in the closing, it was pretty simple. It was by saying there was an attempt to muddy the waters as to what the word transport means.
Which is fair because when I hear transport, it's from a different location. They never change location.
But by definition, the transportation is transportation doesn't require a vehicle. It doesn't require. Because they argued,
I understand
that it was done on foot and was brought from one room to another. However, the underlying spirit of this is that you're and it goes on later in the definition, right? Where at the end of it, it says, the kidnapping and transportation of a human being with the intent to sell. Wait, hold on. Here we go. Factors of this crime include actual violence exercised against a person to maintain their compliance and the extended duration.
Besides threats, were there actual violence? Were they hurt?
Or continuance nature of the imprisonment. It's the threat of violence, right?
Okay.
So threat of violence is if you don't do this, the implication is
what is the difference between that and a hostage that I have at a bank robbery that I command to do certain things that I want? Would that be also human trafficking?
So you're not. So that would bring in the following triggers. The first is, it is true that they're being transported. However, there is no service being rendered, right? Or manual labor. What do you have them doing? You're standing there, right?
Complying with my demands. Being a hostage, not opening their mouth.
No. It means like a service, like an activity. You need to be doing something
So if I make him pick up a piece of paper or trash in the ground without a hostage,
would
that count?
No.
Why not?
How's that a service?
I drop my wallet and I make him pick it up.
So
that is a service for me, right? That's manual labor.
There's 3 clauses here, Mr. Alfonso. If you break it down into only one of those 3 clauses, it doesn't fit.
I understand what you're saying. I think everything else fits except the transportation. If they took him from Crusade to Sandy Shores Medical, okay, that makes sense. They're being trafficked to a different location to do human trafficking, right? To do the manual labor and the service you're talking about.
I understand your point.
I just think it's a slippery slope when they say, okay, down the hall, walk that way. Now it becomes human trafficking. It's not like he went out of his way to not.
It's not. Wait, hold on. So it requires 3 things. The first is the threat of violence. The second is manual labor or a service.
Sure.
And then the third is extended period of time. So
Okay, yeah.
some of the examples of like a hostage or picking up a piece of paper or even putting a gun to someone and say, fix my car is not an extended period of time, right?
What if it takes a long time, right? So what if there's like an hour instead of like, 25 minutes to fix a car?
That would be human trafficking.
Right, but I just
If you like
I think terrorism would have been more of a better charge if you asked me, right?
The thing
He went in there,
is,
terrorized the hospital, held up to EMS, violated their medical neutrality as far as what they did, as far as their job description, and had the whole hospital on lockdown.
so keep in mind, right? I'm not a lawmaker. I only, utilize what's in front of me. But I can tell you, as someone who's not very good with legislation stuff, there's only so many charges, likely because, new ones don't get created. So there are some general like catch-all charges like human trafficking, terrorism, etc. Which, if you take it for the face value of the title, like human trafficking, it can get a little confusing, because when you think human trafficking, you're thinking like,
transporting,
like you
put people to a location.
You put people into a van and then you have them like go like work at the quarry or something, right?
Right.
And or in the case of terrorism, I don't know if you know this, but there needs to be like a political motivation, right? So that terrorism would not actually fit. Like terrorism is actually very difficult to push. You need like evidence that there's like political motive involved. And so while I can understand, like, when you imagine the word human trafficking, certain things come to mind and this doesn't fit, that's super understandable. But like I said, some of these things are like, it may say human trafficking, but the umbrella is a little bit wider. So
I see what you're saying.
Let me give you an example.
I just think that human trafficking is bullshit. I think if they were moved to a location, it's fair. But at that point, I feel like, you're like 80% guilty. So you know what? You're guilty.
Well, what else would fit in your opinion?
I mean, I don't know, really. I thought terrorism would have been the better charge, but I guess, like you said,
yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, we would get a
what is it, like unlawful imprisonment, brandishing, extortion.
So I will tell you that I'm actually working with the mayor to get new legislation put in place to handle cases where people are maimed. So that could be put into place. Like medical malpractice could be another one.
I mean, Elena got charged with like practice without a medical license too. She got fucked. She got more time than Edgar.
If you want my honesty, and you may not relate with this because I think the Babylonians, you guys are a little bit more, you live in your own society in the outside world.
Yeah, in our own bubble. I understand what you're saying. Yes.
In the outside world, between law enforcement and criminals, what you're suggesting is way too complicated. And I think in a perfect world, I'd love to see more charges. But shit's beyond complicated right now. So, I understand why the umbrellas exist. So,
no, like, I mean, now it's starting to make more sense to me why the charge was human trafficking in the first place. If what you're explaining is true, I can see why the cops went that way with the charge. Yeah, and the judge found him guilty.
Like, I'll give you another one. There's something called like targeted violence, which is something I created against Ray Romanoff way back when. It was originally called the Rust Act, and it was created when Ray Romanoff and company were targeting the Rooster's Rest over and over and over.
I remember, yeah. I mean, I was getting shot by them. I was working security for the Rooster's Rest. So this was when there's an attack on the businesses that were happening often, and then the businesses had no ability of fighting back, and they were just an easy target.
Yep. And so now that's called targeted violence. Now I've had law enforcement come up to me and be like, because understandably there are cops that will like try to just push a hag for the sake of it, right? Or look for the biggest shark. And there was arguments like, oh, if someone's attacking cops, like, going after them, that's targeted violence. But the thing is, that doesn't fit, right? And it's because we're a government entity, right? we're law enforcement. And so some of those like, the charge like spiritually doesn't really make no sense. So
I see. Well, thank you for explaining to me, Brian. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I will say that Edgar's going to be out. Actually, Lang's not around till Mondays. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll wait till then. All right. He's gonna be there in for 7 years.
Edgar.
That's right.
What about Elena? 7 years? I thought it was 5.
It was 2 years for the human trafficking.
Right.
And then he attempted to escape. However,
wait, after he was sentenced?
Well, so they went. The judge went for deliberation, and so he was put into my custody for 2 hours. And he had a tracker collar put on him. And we drove around. We got back to the case, and this guy goes and jumps in a car, and they end up dipping. But listen, there might be.
You have the tracker on though. You guys must have found him afterwards, huh?
No. See, look, we're building up something real nice up here in Sandy, locked in units. So immediately, about 4 or 5 of us coordinated, not only managed to take their helicopter down, which they eventually got into, got them in custody, but got some of the co-conspirators. So,
who was involved?
Those are some of the details that I cannot. Come
on, Brian. You're arresting him, throw him in jail. I mean, it's not public news.
There are matters I need to talk to Lang about. I'll leave it at that. So.
I see. Okay. Do your thing, Brian.
Nothing personal, Alfonso. It's, there's, I'm doing my best not to stir too much, if that makes sense.
No, that's fine.
Yep.
Listen, it makes sense. You go talk to the guy at the top. I don't got no problem.
No, it's not. Why are you doing this? What?
I'm not doing it. Hey, listen.
Are you sage farming right now, you motherfucker?
Oh, I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck happened. That's all.
Just go to the guy at the top. It's not like that. It's just there's a matter in regards to it. Okay.
No, I understand why you do it. No, I have no problem with it. I get it. I'm not trying to stick my nose in everybody else's business.
Okay.
Well, I said it makes sense why you go and talk to the guy at the top. That's all.
Oh, okay. Oh, you meant it like in a sad way or something.
No. I don't think anything personal, Brian. I'm not like that.
Okay. You know what? That's why you're one of the good ones. All right.
Yeah, you don't know me, but hey, okay, all right.
I don't think you realize how bad it is outside your gates. All right.
That I believe.
All right. You take care now.
Goodbye, Brian. Good luck to you. Don't get shot again.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hey, Warden. How you doing?
Hi, I am great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad. So we got Edgar into prison. Didn't look like anything popped off